Coach, first of all, welcome and congratulations on the way you closed the regular season.
Thank you so much.
We'll speaking about the team today, but I would like to begin with a more personal topic. The period during which you stepped down from the head coaching position. Could you please walk us through that process? What happened? How did it happen? And why did it happen?
No, that's not something that I refer to in any case, because for me, and we spoke about this earlier, it is a very unique situation due to the fact that I'm in Efes, and I have always kind of sort of had this mental approach to the Efes is home, and whatever is needed to be done, I will do in Efes. And I have had a privilege up to this point in my 15 years in Efes to be so very welcomed and by our Mr. President, first of all, and then everybody else who is around us, that I have had an opportunity to be an assistant coach, a head coach of the second team, and head coach of the first team. That is a humongous privilege, that is a humongous honor, and therefore I don't really analyze the situation. I was in a process of helping the team in every way that I possibly can, and therefore that is just a step in a process, and that's how I approached it. And we continued and moved on, and super happy and super proud of how we have the great chemistry amongst each other as a staff and as the players, and the players feel that, and I hope that the fans can see that, and that we all together were able to complete the regular season in a super way that we are so super happy and proud of, and now all together we're preparing for the next step. So therefore I approach it just like I told you, very, very personal way, and I understand it can be maybe differently analyzed from the outside, but I'm in a unique situation that I'm at home. Efes is my home, and therefore when you're contributing to the success of your home team, of your own team, then you're willing to do everything necessary to make that happen. And that's how I approach it, and I take on all of my roles that I have or had or will have in Efes with a lot of pride. And like I said, it's a unique situation. Yeah. Maybe it can be viewed from the outside a little bit differently. Maybe people don't understand it, but for me it's like that. Therefore there is no other way to explain it, but a lot of pride, privilege, and a big honor to be given this opportunity, because it is one of the highest opportunities and highest honors in a professional sports. That's how I see it.
Coach, like you said, it can be analyzed different from the outside.
Of course.
That's why I would like to ask that, because I am particularly interested in the psychological impact that returning to an assistant role may have.
No. For me, no. Because first of all, I'm a huge fan of the game of basketball. I love game of basketball. And when you do something that is your childhood dream, that is your something that you started doing as a kid, playing, and now it's your professional job, that is the biggest luck in the world. You do something that you love. There is no bigger happiness in a professional life. Second, when you do it in a place that you call home, because I'm here for 15 years and I have been accepted in Efes from day one until now, like I was at home and like I am at home, and that's how I accept it. Now, once you're at home, you want to do everything in your best power to make the best possible job and result for your team. And therefore, for me, there is no psychological approach. The psychological approach is only one: win the game. And I have been in many situations with Efes before. I have had a tremendous honor to work with many different coaches, great coaches, big names. We have had success together, and I have grown as a person and as a coach thanks to that. Therefore, I feel very obliged in every way, shape, or form to help and do everything in my power to not to return the same, but to return the double. And like I said again, it can be from the other people when they look from the outside or from different clubs, or when you analyze, it can be a little bit different. But from us and for myself, who is within inside, it is the only way and the normal approach. And for me, there is no other way to look at it but like that. You have to do everything, and I want to do everything for my team to win.
Okay. How did the players react to this situation? I mean, it is widely known that you are highly respected and appreciated by the team. And in fact, I remember seeing each player come up and hug you during the warm-ups, very first game in the following announcement.
Well, you know, this is, like I said, we're family, you know, we're all, some of us been together for 6, 7, 8 years. Some of the players I worked for in many different situations, and you build bonds. And I have immediately jumped into the next day and next phase to keep on moving, keep on rolling into the direction we have to win. We have to continue and help our team win. And of course, with the tremendous amount of respect for our players and for our management, of course, for Coach Luca, we want to do everything in our power to help all of us together be successful. Therefore, no time to lose. You keep going and you want to win the game. And like I said, win the game and games. And I think and I hope that that situation is very widely seen and visible. And I take a lot of pride in an opportunity to help, an opportunity to contribute, an opportunity to keep on improving and growing, not only as a human being, but as a coach and as a member of the team. And this is something that I take a lot of pride in. And like I said, maybe it can be looks from the outside and people can take a lot of, let's say, surprise by it, because it's not a usual situation. And I'm aware of that. But also, it's not a usual situation that somebody in the professional world feels connected with the team like we have connection and I have connection with Efes. And therefore, the result is like this. And that's why I am very, very honored to do this and to be able to do this and to be able to help in every way and any way possible. Yeah. That's my goal.
Coach, I had asked you this question earlier in the season, I mean in the preseason, but that was at a different stage. Even though the team was eliminated in the play-in, the season was seen as fairly satisfying. During the first part of the year, I mean this year, the schedule was quite intense with more frequent double game weeks and greater inconsistency. As a head coach, what was the most challenging thing for you?
Well, you know, how to say, the most challenging thing is to try to relate the internal pressure that you put on yourself and to isolate the team from that and to make it understand that every other game matters. Because, you know, I really feel, looking from the outside, and I'm a sports fan, of course, as a basketball coach, but also a sports fan. And by watching every other sport, every other team competition in the world, the level of competition that we have in EuroLeague is something that is most unique in every other team competition worldwide. Of course, NBA is great. Of course, Football Champions League is great. Of course, NFL, NHL, everything is great. But the amount of pressure and the amount of one game, importance of a single game that we have in EuroLeague, of a single possession, of a single point, is something that hasn't been created anywhere else in team competition in the world that I can think of right now. Therefore, when you're a member and when you're part of this great competition and you're in the role that you want to relate this to the players and to the people around you, that we have to look at the big picture, but we have to look at the next game first, and the next practice, and the next trip, and the next meeting. And that's the most important thing. Let's say that's the most challenging part. But I think that altogether, because here I'm very fortunate to say that we are working with a great staff, great group of people, support that we have on the coaching side, on the medical team side, on the management side, is something that allows you as a coach, as an assistant coach, as a member of the team, to work fully concentrated on the success of the team. And that's why I think that we were able to go step by step and reach certain steps, of course, some better, some good, some not so good, some great. But that's the season. The season's a marathon. It's so long. Therefore, I think that all of us together, I underline, all of us together, with a huge amount of work, we're able to go in this step-by-step process and emphasize the importance of the next game. And we were able to relay this message and, I would say, execute in a proper way.
Coach, which games during your stint as head coach brought you the most joy, and which ones were the most disappointing? 2 games.
Oh, I would say the most joy. Every win is the most joy. There is no...
But some of them maybe.
I would say, of course, I would say probably, if we talk about the EuroLeague, I would say probably winning against Real Madrid on the road. It's something unique and special. Like I said, every game is very, every victory is very important and very unique, and you cherish it a lot. But to beat Real Madrid on the road, I think that was something that kind of brought a lot of happiness and joy to the whole team, and it was very widely celebrated by us among our group. As far as the loss, Monaco at home. Monaco at home was the game that I felt.
You got this.
Yeah, because 3 quarters it was a control of the game, +8, and then a couple of mistakes. We kind of let them come back from the uncertain situation into the certain situation, and we kind of let the game go. So that would be the one that I would say hurt the most. Especially at that moment of the season, could be a good positive breaking point for the standings and everything. But again, as we can see, season is a marathon. It changes in every game and every round changes. So, but let's say those 2 come to mind on the positive and, let's say, negative side.
Coach, what kind of role did Luca Banchi play in your decision?
Of course, like I said, I have had a privilege of working with the great coaches in my career, and being influenced by the great coaches, they make you better. And of course, Coach Banchi and myself, we know each other for a long time, obviously crossing paths in EuroLeague and in European basketball. And for me, it's a very big opportunity and a very big privilege to continue to help and to work, because we really have tremendous communication. We have a tremendous chemistry together, and I think that the feel of that chemistry can be, it's visible, that all of our coaching staff has, and that relates to Coach Banchi as well, who has brought this, of course, his experience and his knowledge of the game, and of course us helping each other in every way, shape or form to make our team better. And I think that chemistry and the joy of working together is, like I said, very visible to the outside. And we really enjoy being in a staff together, and I really take a lot of pride and privilege of working for Coach and with Coach. And it's a great chemistry that relates from Coach Banchi being the head coach and all of us on the staff being together. Joy of being together, working and being in a team, and of course contribute to the victories.
Coach, when Coach Banchi arrived, the team was already going through a difficult period. Personally, I felt this was largely related to the schedule. Then the national team break came, and the schedule changes seemed to work. Nonetheless, how would you describe the change has taken place since then? What happened?
Well, you know, I'm trying to explain to people how grueling the schedule of the EuroLeague is, and fortunately or unfortunately, only people that are inside of it on a daily basis can feel it. And it's sometimes difficult to explain because, and this is not just for us, this is for every team, so we're not an exception. That national team window, when it happened, we were able to, of course, players that were in national teams, that were contributing and playing in national teams, very good. Players that were not, were able to reconsolidate physically, recover, and of course do some quality, I would say, work in practice to prepare for what's coming up next. And we were able to use that time wisely, because I don't necessarily agree that, okay, certain parts of the season have a favorable schedule and certain parts of the season have, let's say, more tough schedule. But you never know what team are you going to play next in the next block, what kind of shape they're going to be at. You look at the paper, you can say, okay, we're playing against team X and Y, but team X and Y have a great name. These are for sure great teams. Maybe they have 5 injuries. Maybe they're in a bad shape. Maybe you win more easy than you would accept or anticipate. But then you play some, let's say, easier part of the schedule. These guys catch up good shape. They have good domestic talent. They play good. And then you find yourself playing 3 games that you were anticipated to be easier. They were the hardest. That's why, going back to the beginning of our conversation, if you're able to have a mentality of the next game, those teams usually succeed the most. And that's something that we all together are trying to relate to our players. And like I said, from that national team break, I felt and I hoped that our physical recovery, coming back from the injuries, catching some shape, resting, somebody needed to rest also, helped us to just kind of take off and continue playing up to our potential, which we all know, hope, and believe that we can do on a day-to-day basis.
Coach, finally, you are now matched up with Panathinaikos, an emotional series facing Coach Ataman. They are the defending champions, obviously, and this matchup was basically already decided if things would go in the natural way. I mean, if FS wins in the last day and Barcelona wins, okay, then it's decided. Still, I'd like to ask, what was your initial reaction when you learned Anadolu Efes would be facing Panathinaikos?
Well, there's a couple of segments that you can break this. First of all, we as FS, you know, I try to say this to the people to the outside or to the newcomers to our family. Once you wear this jersey, once you put this jersey on, you have to have high demands on yourself every day. You need to expect the best things from yourself and the highest targets for yourself every day. Sometimes that sounds like a commercial. I understand that. But I know from inside and outside that we put a lot of demand on ourselves because we are FS. And I always kept saying that. And this is something that is one side of our story. So going back to that story, when we were able to reach our first goal, which is to reach the playoffs, our main focus was on ourselves. We wanted to be there and then see who we're going to be matched up. Because you know that in the playoffs you're going to match up against great teams. There is no, we're playing against so-and-so, easy, no problem. No, great teams. Not one game, not one single opponent is an easy opponent. So when we reached our first goal and reached the playoffs, we were super happy, super motivated, super excited. Now, when the draw, or not the draw, when the matchup is against our former coach, person that personally me have very strong and very good relationship with, person that we have won together as a part of FS family. Of course, that matchup itself with, of course, players being coached by Coach Ataman, players playing for him before. This is like a emotional roller coaster because one side it's the battle, one side is old friends against old friends. Of course, Coach Banchi and Coach Ataman are also old friends from the way back when. So this series itself, I think it adds extra more spice to the overall playoff series in EuroLeague, which is crazy and intense as it is. So
and European basketball needs this kind of story.
I think exactly. I was going to say exactly. European basketball is ready for this type of stories because these stories are very Hollywood made. You know, they look very American made in the Hollywood sense. Where something like this happens, it usually doesn't happen in Europe so much. But now when it happened to us, with these teams being so interrelated with these families and friends and relationships and friendships and all that. And at the end of the day, I think for the fans, it provides a tremendous excitement, not just because of the stories behind the floor, but also on the floor, you will match up some of the great individual performance, some of the great team performance, some of the old teammates, new teammates, stuff like that. So it is something that I think EuroLeague basketball, European basketball only profits from. On our side, on the basketball side, of course, we know that it's going to be a tremendously difficult matchup. But again, we are Efes, and we need, and we will, and we want to put all the kind of not only demands, but ability and any kind of wish that we want to desire for, put everything and all our effort for that, to reach the goal, to reach something that we feel that we can reach. Of course, step by step, one possession at a time, in this tremendously great matchup against the reigning EuroLeague champion. So not much more to add. I think that everybody who knows a little bit of basketball can understand the magnitude of the game.
Coach, like you said, EuroLeague playoffs teams are great teams.
Great.
Everyone. If given the choice, would you have preferred a matchup against Monaco instead?
No.
You can feel free to answer both from emotional side and technical wise.
No, because remember I said a couple of situations before, only thing you focus on is the next one, in the next game, in the next situation. You don't, in my humble opinion, and I'm still not Phil Jackson, but in my humblest opinion, you don't wish for something or look for something. You go for something that you earned. We've earned this. We have earned this spot. So we've earned this spot, and we have earned this matchup. For me, there is no other matchups in my head. They don't exist. Only this matchup exists. Everything else is something that's earned on the other side. And I really, for 1 second, I haven't spent, oh, maybe we should, could have, would. No. This is something we worked very hard for. This is something that all of our people that are around this team, and there's a lot of people that are strongly connected to this team, in locker room, outside of the locker room, in the medical room, in the equipment room, in the management rooms. You know, these are people that are really feeling everything that we feel, and they're supporting us hardly 24/7 all the time. Therefore, I think we earned our spot well, and we earned our spot properly, and now we have to go step by step to do everything in our power to continue dreaming.
Thanks a lot, Coach. It's like always, it's a pleasure to talk
Appreciate
with you, and I wish you good luck in
Thank
the
you so
playoff
much.
series.
Appreciate it so much. Thank you.